I recently talked about Arsenal and all the problems I think they have, but there was one part that I wanted to go into more detail on, and that is the sort of Blackstenius Russo thing, because it seems that Jonas doesn't know how to use either. He doesn't know how to use either, and he's sort of trying to make them both do the same things when they're completely different, and I sort of wanted to go into some detail on that. It is clear that Jonas prefers Russo to Blackstenius. I don't know why. I don't know the reasons for that. I don't know if she complements his play style a bit more, because the last WSL start Blackstenius had was against Brighton. You know, the one where she scored and she spun around. Sorry, that's what I remember. She spun around. She's been used sort of as this quote unquote super sub. I wouldn't really call it a super sub, because she normally gets subbed on in certain times, and you think, oh, why would you sub her on then? I would have subbed her on earlier, or I wouldn't have subbed her on at all. But she's been subbed on 8 times. Now, it's such an odd conversation, because for me, there are times when Russo needs to start, and there are times when Blackstenius needs to start. There are times when Blackstenius' playstyle is greatly yes, you need it. And there are times where Russo's playstyle is needed. I'll give you an example. Spurs needed a Blackstenius. You needed someone who will just take their chance and score. You don't need that playmaking. You don't need that. You just need a goal. You don't need to have beautiful play. You don't need to do that. But when you play teams like Arsenal, what am I going on about? Teams like Chelsea, I'm so sorry. When you play teams like Arsenal, you are Arsenal. Now, Blackstenius hasn't been the greatest this season. I'm not sitting there saying, oh, if you play Blackstenius, then the issues will be solved, because I think it goes a lot more deep than that, and it's a lot more sort of complicated than that, because whenever sometimes Blackstenius plays, you will see weaknesses in the Arsenal side. It's the same thing. Both aren't perfect. It's not like, oh, if you put Russo in, she's perfect. Oh, if you put Blackstenius in, she's perfect. I don't think either of them two are the problem. I think the problem delves deeper in sort of the midfield, the defence and all that. I don't think either of them are a problem. I think if you start either, then you'll be fine, because they're both top talents, but they both do completely different things. I think my problem comes is when they are sort of both played as the same person. When you play Russo, you will not get this person who just constantly runs, who just constantly goes over the line and goes, oh, let me just shoot. Russo isn't that. She's a playmaker. She's like a number 9 sort of. She likes to play. She doesn't necessarily, rely on scoring. Yes, she does score. She scores a lot, but she prefers, when Ford gets into those sort of strikery positions, whereas Blackstenius is the one who will be there. She'll be in the box all the time. She'll be there to just score goals. And it depends on who your opposition is, depending on who you play. For me, one thing I've wanted is to watch them play together. I want to watch them play together again. I desperately want to see them play together again, because I do think they complement their style. I think they complement each other's style. I'd like to see them play together. I know it won't happen in the WSL game, because Jonas is that. Maybe in the Continental Cup. I don't know. Yeah, Continental Cup. You've got London City Lionesses. I want to see Blackstenius and Russo play together to see how they complement it, because Blackstenius is so clinical, it's unbelievable. I mean, I know people are going to go, oh, but she misses chances. But she gets into about 25 more chances than any other forward that Arsenal have. The positions that she gets into, no one is yet to replicate. I haven't seen an Arsenal player replicate it yet as of late. But Russo, her playmaking is so beautiful. You watch her sort of play these balls, you watch her link up with sort of Ford in the midfield, you watch it happen and you think, wow. You think maybe if there was a Blackstenius at the end of that, maybe something would happen. Blackstenius has 4 goals currently in the WSL, which isn't that good, you may consider for a striker standard, but she's only played 246 minutes. She hasn't played that long, a goal every 61.5 minutes, and especially considering if you've just been subbed on, it is quite tough, and she normally gets subbed on quite late, which I don't understand. If a game plan's not working, you would know in the 60th minute. It was like the Tottenham game. All I'm thinking about currently is the Tottenham match, where everyone knew the game plan wasn't working. Everyone knew it. And then Tottenham scored, and then you start thinking, oh, hold on, guys, we need a goal. What do we do? Maybe we should change something up. Because it was only 1-0 as well. I feel like when Tottenham scored, people were just like, oh, no, it was 1-0. You can score 2 goals in, half an hour? That's piss easy. Especially when you have decent players. But I don't know if it's the manager. Sorry, this has just turned into me moaning about Jonas' managerial style, because sometimes I'll look at his subs and I'll think, why haven't you done that? You didn't need to sub them off. Why haven't you sort of changed the formation? Because you have the talent. That's the worst part about this Arsenal side, is they have the talent to do these big things, but they just don't come about. Blackstenius is a typical striker. I think she's a typical striker you see it just in the day. She'll run in behind, she'll make those runs, she'll be the one forward. If there's anyone in the box, it will be her. She's always there. She, when the wingers are going like, oh, who do I do it to? She'll be in the box. She'll shoot. She doesn't really. I think one thing about her is she doesn't really let her confidence go down. She, even if she misses about 25 chances, she'll probably still put one in the back of the net. Like, she will make about so many runs in behind, and yes, she's offside, but that's the game. That's a striker's game. They're offside a lot, especially considering you have VAR as well. It's quite tricky. And that's what she does. Russo is not like that. Because she doesn't play like that. She's not a typical striker. I would call her sort of a number 9-esque. She likes to play. She's sort of like an extension to the midfield, is how I would most describe it. She sort of likes to make those play. And yes, she sometimes gets herself into Blackstenius positions. But she isn't necessarily only thinking about, oh, well, let me get into this position where I think they would score. Now, why doesn't Jonas start Blackstenius? I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know why he doesn't start Blackstenius, because there are certain matches that you watch and you think, oh, that needs a change. Then there needs to be a change there. Maybe you're going to switch it up, and Blackstenius is still sat on the bench, even in these games that you think, oh, well, you're going to win it. Start Blackstenius, you're going to win it. And whenever Blackstenius does start, she scores goals. Like, I hope people know that. Whenever she does start, she scores goals. She's mainly started in the Continental Cup, the FA Cup. But she scores. It works. But I just don't know if he doesn't respect her anymore. I don't know if he's got Russo and he thinks, oh, well, Russo will do, so I don't really need her. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if he can't sort of switch it out. I don't know if he wants Blackstenius to be something she isn't. I don't know if he sort of wants Blackstenius to be Russo and sort of go, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And I know Blackstenius used to get a lot of criticism, especially last season, for her missed chances. Like, she got so much criticism for her missed chances. But in my opinion, she gets into positions, she lets people score, she terrorises defences. Like, if you've got Blackstenius playing against you as a defence, you not only have to think about everything in front of you, you have to think that woman's running in behind me. That's scary. She terrorises goalkeepers as well. Because these long balls, the goalkeepers, the sweeper keepers, they don't know what to do. They say, do I go for it or do I stay in my goal? Because then it's one-on-one. She terrorises defences. Obviously, Blackstenius isn't perfect. There are a lot of negatives to her game, offside often. But one thing I've noticed is defensively, she is nowhere near as good as Russo. A lot of Russo's game plan is you watch her and you think, wow, defensively, she is excellent. Like Russo defensively is really, really good. She'll get back, she'll do it. Blackstenius doesn't do that. And that's just the way she does it. I don't know if Jonas wants more help in sort of the defence department, and so if a player's not going back, then it sort of harms them defensively. But Russo is incredible at defending for what she is. Obviously, she's not going to be the greatest defender in the world, but if you watch Russo's game, so this is me talking about Russo now, you will see her go back. She tracks back a lot. She's a lot like Lauren James in that sense. She'll track back a lot, and I don't think she gets enough praise for how good she is defensively. She sort of helps out everyone. I know it's tough because it's like, how will you know which player you need before the match starts? Because there are certain matches where you would think you would need a Blackstenius and then you realise, no, we need a Russo. It's tough. I think a good example of that is the City match, Man City versus Arsenal, when Arsenal won 2-1. It was 1-1, Blackstenius comes on, and it came from nothing. The goal came from nothing. It was a Keaton mistake, but that's what Blackstenius does. She scares this opposition, she scares the defence into making mistakes. Because if you have Blackstenius running at you, you know that if you lose that ball, she's scoring, basically. You give that ball to her, she's scoring. She presses so high, and Keaton made a mistake. And that's what Blackstenius does. And obviously Blackstenius is sat there going, yeah, this is my time. And it was in the last minute of the game, and that I think is where sort of she shines, is that sort of putting pressure on these players, on this defence, and they don't know what to do because they're not used to it, or they're just like, oh no, what do we do? She also adds a different thing to the game. She also adds something different, because for me, whenever I watch Arsenal play, especially recently, it's just been the same thing. It's been them going out to the wings, putting it in the box, hoping something happens. They play the same game constantly, and it gets so boring because everyone knows what they're doing and they don't score enough goals. When you have Blackstenius on, it gets a little bit different. You sort of see a different side because Blackstenius doesn't necessarily want the balls that Russo wants. Blackstenius is more of sort of an outward striker, so it adds a different style to the game. In my opinion, I think it's tough to sit there and say which one's better, Russo or Blackstenius, because they're two completely different beings. They're two completely different. I think, yes, technically they play the same position, one may argue, but they're differently play style. And I think certain games need a Blackstenius, certain games need a Russo, and it's really tough to sort of decide. One thing I will say about Blackstenius, is that she's clinical. She will score goals, but she doesn't have that build-up play. She doesn't have that defensive sort of mind as Russo would. So I think it's just a flip of the coin. I think you need to sit there and you need to realise, hold on, which match needs her? Which match needs her? Again, I would love to see her, them two play together. I would love to see it. I wanna watch them play, see if it works, because it could be dreadful. It could be the worst. I think they have played together a couple matches, but I don't really remember watching them specifically. I was more watching the defence. But it could be horrific. Like, it could be. But that's the point of trying. And I know it seems like Blackstenius might be leaving soon, maybe in the summer, which I think would be a mistake from Arsenal. I wouldn't let her go. Maybe that's just me. I think you need her. I think she is that one girl who will give you those goals when you sit there and you think, oh, all hope is lost. She will be there. Even if it's in the 92nd minute. Yeah, Blackstenius will still be making those runs. She will still be there going, I'm going to score this match. I'm going to score. In conclusion, Blackstenius and Russo are two different beings. And again, it's really tricky to decide who wants to play who. I think it really depends on everyone else as well. I think people always focus sort of on, oh, well, if this person plays in this, but like if Russo plays with Blackstenius, I think it depends on who's around them. I think it depends on everyone else because it depends on if the balls are actually coming in. It depends on all that. It's a tough thing, though sadly, I don't think Jonas will listen. As if Jonas is sat there watching this going, yes, I'm going to listen to Paul the Chicken 13. No, but I think we'll see Russo starting. I don't think Blackstenius. I think Blackstenius has sadly become a sub. I think Blackstenius has sort of come into an era of sub. I think that's sad. Anyway, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciated. I don't know if this video makes any sense. It's just me talking about Blackstenius and Russo because I feel like some people don't understand that they play two different things. Like, they aren't the same being. I feel like I've said that so many times, but they aren't the same. They're completely different. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Yeah, thank you.